I can think of, bro.
Shrimp Alfredo.
That shit mad thick, man.
Yo, what up, fam? Welcome to new fam, old fam. This is Running Point. Here we talk about Knicks and Lakers and everything in between and all that. That's Ronnie. That's Serge. Steve. I'm DJ. Welcome back, fellas. Another week, man. How y'all feeling?
Feeling good. Feeling good.
Feeling good.
Great week. Great week.
Word.
Great week.
Great week.
Perfect. Perfect.
Amazing week.
Huh?
Amazing week.
Amazing week. Yeah, I mean, there's one team and one player that had an amazing week. SGA and the Thunder. They just beat who they could potentially face in the finals. Like, what are your thoughts on the OKC Thunder and SGA leading the way?
Kind of looks like he's almost cemented his MVP case.
Mm-hmm.
He beat the Joker in one game.
1-1, they split.
Then went and beat Boston without Jalen Williams.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So SGA has just cemented himself. He's having a pretty good week, pretty good year. OKC themselves is really looking like a championship contender.
You think they're legit?
Their defense
Or
is
ain't
legit.
shit.
Like
Or legit?
this win against Boston without Jalen Williams.
Yeah.
One win against Denver, even though they lost the second game, but that's okay. Yeah, you gotta take them legitimately.
I would go further and say it's their defense that's been impressive. They just swept the Boston Celtics for the season. So even if there is a matchup in the future, they have the home court advantage now.
Yeah.
The other part of it is
That goes off record.
Huh?
That goes off record. But they would have had it regardless.
Yeah, that's what I'm
because they
saying.
got
Like
this second
that
best or
legitimizes it.
Yeah.
Legitimizes it. And the other part of it I would say is per 100 possessions. I think it was 109 points is what the Boston Celtics averaged against OKC, whereas for the season against everyone else is 116 points. So just holding them down in defense is like just, showing that they're not just a one-dimensional team, but they kind of are putting it all together.
Yeah.
And they're doing it at the right time of the season,
Okay.
like right before the playoffs. So kudos to them. They did it without Jalen, like you said. And, they're just establishing themselves as a dominant force in the NBA. We'll see what happens.
I dig it. I mean, I like him, but I don't know. Is SGA boring as a player? Is he like the Tim Duncan of this era, where he's fundamentally sound and he just gets the job done, but it looks boring or it is boring?
Nah, I think you just don't recognize OKC as names like that. But SGA is a
No, I know he's nice, and we know Tim
he's
Duncan
an
was
exciting
nice.
player when you watch
Gotcha.
him.
Okay, but
Okay.
No, I was just gonna say
Go ahead.
he's an exciting player, but I think he's one of the new school smooth guys. Like his game is very good to watch, and it's not a lot. He gets to his spots and he gets the shots, and he's efficient.
that's what I'm saying. Tim Duncan.
Efficient.
That's
Yeah,
what I'm saying.
Nah, but he got moves though.
Yeah.
He got moves.
Mr. Fundamental.
You did just describe Tim Duncan.
You did though.
I did.
I'm just, you know what I'm saying?
I
feel you.
I'm just saying, no disrespect either way. I'm just saying, like, the
Not
brand
Tim-
of basketball, to your point, like, is it boring?
It's
Some people
not-
might find it boring.
I mean,
But he's a
because he
winner.
doesn't play above the rim, I guess. But yeah, I did just describe Tim.
It's
If
all
you're,
right.
if you're a
It is something.
basketball
Yeah.
fan, though,
Yeah.
and you're watching him,
Yeah.
it's beautiful basketball, right?
Yep.
So I think if you're just someone watching, and it depends on what you're looking for when you watch a game and what you find exciting in basketball. If it's all slam dunks and 3-pointers from the logo, then maybe not.
No.
Maybe he's boring to you. But, if you're a fan or a
Yeah.
connoisseur of basketball and you watch his game, you're going to be like, damn, this is a beautiful game.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't think he does anything unnecessary.
Right.
Like he does what he has to do.
The only reason I'm bringing it up because of the fact that, like, obviously him and Jokic are like neck and neck for MVP. Is he doing enough to solidify himself as the MVP over Jokic? I'm saying Jokic is averaging like triple double
So,
as
I
a big
mean,
man.
Did
That's
you,
all.
did you just come up with his new nickname? Is he the small fundamental?
Yeah, I mean, hey, here on the point.
Yo,
like
I
and subscribe.
SGA
Like and subscribe.
exciting.
Yeah,
I
These niggas
know
can't
he
guard.
he's boring.
I know he is.
No,
No.
but I'm saying no. I know y'all know he's nice, but I'm saying his game
Yeah.
is exciting.
Yeah. He has like a little bump. No, I mean, but my nigga, Tim Duncan was nice. Too. That's all I'm saying. Tim Duncan is nice.
Yeah, but
you
there's
keep
a
bringing
clear,
up Tim
but there's
Duncan.
I
a
got
clear
you.
difference
Nice.
between
I'm saying
Tim.
this nigga,
So Tim Duncan's not nice?
I'm not saying that. I'm
Oh.
saying this nigga's game
I think
is
we all know
exciting.
Tim Duncan.
Oh,
is
I'm
nice.
just trying to ask this nigga a question. Is he because he's a Spur, not a Laker?
But why
Whoa.
don't you
Tim
think
Duncan.
SGA Like, why is he boring to you?
I didn't say he's boring. I'm just is he to consistency. I think he's probably boring. But to Steve's point, as
No,
a basketball
I
fan,
haven't
you
heard
think
that.
No, that's what I'm
Wow.
saying. Why do you think he's boring? Like, I haven't heard.
because he's in a smaller market. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just a small market team, so he's not going to get a lot of eyes if he stayed in LA. That's
No.
what I'm saying.
I feel you, but what's crazy is like unanimously everybody's looking at this man as an MVP. So I don't think he's considered.
Yes, but you can still be a
boring.
boring MVP.
No,
Hey,
You could be.
You wouldn't
could
be in
That's
the
what I'm saying.
conversation if you're boring.
But
Because-
in this case, I don't think it applies.
yeah.
Even though I love the name Small Fundamental, I don't
You know what I
think
mean?
that I don't think it applies.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Is he doing enough to be an MVP? That's all I'm saying.
He is.
Because
He
Yeah.
if you look at Jokic, as an
Jokic
MVP,
is just,
an
Jokic is
MVP,
just
excitement. That's all I'm saying. It's exciting to watch. I'm not saying
Cool.
that SGA isn't exciting to watch. Jokic, a big man doing what he's doing. Like, no, he's not going to jump above the rim. He's not going to jump over a phone book. But my nigga, like the passes, the playmaking ability that he has. To me, SGA doesn't have enough assists. He's not. He's going to give you 30. As soon as he walks on the court, he's giving you
Who's gonna
30.
Pass it to.
Huh?
Who's going to pass it?
But
to?
I'm just saying, as an most valuable player, you're going to get everyone else involved. I mean, they're number one seed.
their offense
for
is
2
a
years
lot
in a
of
row.
one-on-one.
Yeah, that and sitting
Um,
in the corner.
But you gotta look at it though. Like
And Jalen dances sometimes.
the players he has around him, they're all young. You can't actively rely on any of them yet. So SGA has to do what he's doing, and he averages 6 assists. But
Is
it's
that
like
good?
he's.
Yeah, 32, 5, and 6.
6 assists for a point guard?
I think we gotta
He's
judge
a-
him on getting his teammates better and shit like that. I think the years to come, because right now, like he came into last season, this season, these are some young niggas. You know what I'm saying? Like he came in ready.
So
to
you're saying they're not
dominate.
ready. So they're not legit when the playoffs come.
I think we're all finding out in real time that
DJ.
they're ready. Like OKC, I think they're
Where
finding out.
where are you getting that he said that from?
Who?
Him.
He
did-
just said the niggas are young. So
Yo.
therefore, when the playoffs come, everything gets a little bit, you know what I mean?
You gotta let him keep doing this. Like he just creates
I just be
narratives out
ignoring
of
this nigga.
What
Out of
narrative am I
nowhere.
creating? What narrative am I creating?
You be because you be ignoring what a nigga said.
Yeah.
I'm not ignoring anything.
That's not what he said at all.
Yes. Niggas
Yes,
is
he
young.
did.
Who does he got? Who does he have?
Yo,
I
6
think-
assists is good for his team because
So
they're,
how did I miss
they're in
that?
a winning position. He's running and runner up for or he may be runner up or in first place for MVP. And most importantly, they're in the best position in the West Coast to win the championship.
And
But as you
yeah,
said-
that's not what you're looking for him to do. Is the assist?
Yeah.
Like he's effective with his scoring.
I think he's like playing.
So what happens
Sweet
when they
spot.
get knocked out in the second round this year?
It's a possibility.
That's what I'm
It
saying.
depends on matchups. We don't
Is
know.
it a disappointment? No, because we can see them going back in the next 3 years straight and doing better every year.
We don't know.
We don't know.
Their defense is legit though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what they're going to rely on. They are going to have some issues with their offense, right? Because obviously in the playoffs, teams are going to focus on SGA. So to your point, he's going to have to find a way to make his teammates better. His teammates are also going to have to step up.
That's what I'm saying.
Jalen Williams is definitely going to have to, regardless of SGA's getting your shots, you're going to have to find your shots.
Because he's an all-star now.
Yeah.
So
So it's not going to be SGA didn't get me the ball, it's you didn't get the ball.
correct.
Chet Holmgren,
He got to stay
Um,
healthy first.
right? Hartenstein with his little jump hooks in the paint.
Off and rebounds.
Dort, Wallace, Wiggins. All of these other niggas got to hit shots. But they're great defensive.
Joe.
They play defense on a string. You can't penetrate against them. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see.
So you like them in come playoff time?
I mean, every day that goes by, it's harder for me to not take them seriously.
Okay. So we got a sleeper, number 2 in the West right now, the Grizzlies, led by John Morant, and potentially Defensive Player of the Year with Triple J. Obviously, Desmond Bane playing well this year, or he's not playing well, he's playing good. His numbers are down a little bit, but what do you think about the Grizzlies and their potential? Do you think they're legit or ain't shit?
I would say in the last 12 games, especially with Jaren Jackson being out.
Yep.
The Grizzlies have had a lighter schedule going into the end of the season. So they've been able to take advantage of that with Jaren Jackson being out. On top of it, we've seen Desmond Bane step up in the last 12 games, averaging almost 9 rebounds per game in the absence of Jaren Jackson, while still having 6 assists and 23 points a game. So doing really good with the adapting to what's on the court and being successful. I think the injury came at a good time for them. It's before the playoffs, but it's also at a weaker point in their schedule for the year.
Mhm.
So they've been able to capitalize off of that as well. They moved up maybe 2 places on the power rankings in the last week as well. So nice, good run for them. Hopefully they can capitalize on this when he gets back and continue to move this forward into the playoffs. So that
Are they a
can
dark horse?
build some steam? Yeah, for sure. They're a dark horse going into the playoffs. I mean, there's no reason why they're not. They have a good, legitimate defense. They have a really good offense with an explosive player or two on the offensive side and a dynamic defensive player on their defense as well. So they have all the things and all the ingredients you need to get you to the championship game. It's just a matter of maturity and learning from the past failures, which comes with experience.
I think a couple of pods ago we spoke about Memphis and we was like, Ja gotta step up.
Mm-hmm.
He's been stepping up. He's been playing really well. 30-point games,
7.
high assist games.
Yeah.
So he's been stepping up, and that's good to see. So Memphis fans should feel proud and excited for the playoffs. Now they still are pretty young, so still need a bench. Ja is a winner in my eyes.
Yeah.
Right.
I
So
agree.
as long as he's on the court, I give him some kind of chance. Jaren Jackson, I've never been too fond of him because I expected him to be a little bit better. He's been giving you like 20-8, 20-9 since his like second year in the league. I thought he would take a little bit more of a jump, but this is who he is with a defensive player of the year, so that's pretty good. And Bane. So their big three, I'm feeling. I just am not sold on the rest of the team.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair.
Good point.
Yeah, and I think it really just depends on matchups for their success in the playoffs. Because honestly, if it were to start today, they have the Lakers in the first round, 4 and 5.
And we know what that means.
Damn, they're in the fourth.
I think they were number 2.
They're tied for 3. So it's Houston, Denver, and Memphis.
Damn.
Tied
Okay.
for second.
My bad.
But
And
the
right
way it's
now
lined up,
Right now it's lined up. Memphis is 4.
Memphis is 4.
And you guys right now?
And
Is the
we're
season
5.
today? Okay.
So who's second?
Second is Houston.
Wow. That must have happened within the last couple of days.
Yeah, so Houston, Denver, and Memphis, all 43 and 25.
Yeah. That's why. Okay.
And how
Crazy. The West is crazy.
I know
West
the
is
Lakers,
wild.
man.
Yeah.
It sucks for the
Man.
Lakers, man.
Yeah.
Because
We're
we're
not
going to be number 2.
we're not talking about them today,
Oh, my
actually,
fault.
sir. You know what I mean?
My fault.
You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean?
What about the Knicks tonight?
No. Anyway, so yeah.
What about the Knicks
So
tonight?
like, what is it?
Based
What
off
is,
the Lakers,
are they
you know
legit?
what I'm saying?
Are they legit or ain't shit?
Who?
The Grizzlies. We know the Knicks are legit.
They're legit in the West. Ain't shit for a championship.
So then they ain't shit.
They ain't shit.
They ain't shit. Okay.
Ain't shit.
My fault.
All right. What do you think, sir?
Ain't shit.
Damn. So a team in the West, I mean the East, that's number 1 right now, currently, in the Midwest, led by Donovan Mitchell. Cavaliers. What do you think?
Wow.
Legit or ain't shit?
That's a different story. I mean, I would say legit. Now, y'all know me. I called it at the beginning of the season.
Go Knicks.
I said Cavs was going to play the Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals, and the Cavs was going to win. They was going to play the Lakers in the finals.
Oh boy,
So
here we go.
I called this, and y'all looked at me like I'm crazy. Now, y'all kind of looking at me with a little more respect. I appreciate it. Thank you.
No one even said that.
Now, to go into some more detail, in the last 12,
I mean, the Cavs, yeah, I'm with you. Maybe in the finals. I do not see how the Knicks are getting past Boston.
all right, yeah, that's fine. I mean, like that was just my choice. That's my wild card choice. Is the Knicks? I just feel like the Knicks are
Reset.
going to learn from what they did last year. I could be wrong because I could just be wrong. I don't know what Thibodeau's doing. I know he got called out recently, but that's a whole nother story.
I don't understand.
You're right.
This
Like,
wasn't
I'm
on
not-
the
hey,
the
just-
rundown,
It's just,
sir.
I'm just getting yelled at because I'm just getting challenged because I'm going with the Knicks. But I'm
As you
choosing,
should,
but
smart
I'm
man.
choosing the Cavs over the Knicks.
But
You know,
not a smart man.
DeAndre Hunter is like the big addition to their team.
He hasn't lost yet.
And 12 games that he's been a part of since he's gotten to the team, they've won all 12. The Cavs are actually 115 plus points with him.
16-game winning streak currently.
Crazy, right?
Franchise
Second
record,
one of the
second
season.
one of the season.
So I mean,
Come on.
that seems like
your
it's
face, huh?
that seems like it's the trade
Put
of
some
the
respect
year
on these niggas.
right there. I mean, of all the trades we talk about the deadline, I think we kind of like underestimated that trade.
We talked about that trade.
we
We
did,
was all big on
but
that trade.
I think the news and the media hyped up other trades over that,
Okay, yo.
and like it's just looking like that trade right there is the one that might put a team in the finals, as opposed to some of the other trades. We'll see what happens, obviously, but DeAndre Hunter as a addition to the Cavs may have just been the key to put them over the Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals.
I know they haven't talked about this yet, but right now they're currently at 56-10. Do y'all think they touch that 70 win mark?
Nah. They would have to win 20. They're 56-10.
56 and 10.
Yeah,
56
but they would
and
have
10.
to win 20, like almost like 17.
14 is
How many
14.
games have they lost?
14
Or
more
have
games?
they won since the playoff or
What is
since the
No.
All-Star
in all,
game?
yeah, in all these niggas. Why you got so in all these niggas? They suck.
What you mean?
They don't. This is the regular season. Regular season doesn't mean anything.
Don't feel no kind of way. I've been choosing this team all
But
before the
they
season
don't-
started.
It doesn't matter. They don't
Yo.
do anything. Playoffs is a different story. Playoff comes, we'll see. Does
Playoffs is a different story.
Does Darius Garland shrink like he's
Yeah, so
been
they
doing?
have 16 games
Does
left.
Donovan-
They would
is
have
Donovan
to go
good
14
enough?
and 2.
It
So-
don't matter.
so-
70, it don't matter. They can get 70 wins. Fuck it.
They could do it. This
Fuck
this
who cares?
schedule that they have.
What that mean? What does it mean?
So I'm
No, no,
gonna,
I'm asking-
I'm
but
gonna
what does that
say
mean? It don't mean nothing.
I probably don't even want to say this, but I'll say the Cavs are legit.
Ain't shit.
They legit.
Ain't shit.
I mean, what's legit? What were we saying?
Championship.
Championship.
That's
Like
the standard. Like they
Yes,
can go
are
to
they
the
a
finals.
championship team?
They could go to the finals or they could win the finals.
They go to the finals.
Go to the finals.
Legit.
You know it's not.
Yeah.
They're not legit.
Yo,
Here we go.
Cleveland, Boston.
Knicks.
I don't want to put the Knicks on there,
You
but
have
the
to.
Knicks.
You can't put.
The reason I put those three teams up there is because I'm not totally sold on Boston. I think Boston could choke.
Yeah.
Yeah, against the
For
Knicks.
sure.
They've proven that.
I think the Boston could choke. The Knicks have not given any reason to believe that they could beat Boston or any good team. Like, I'm with you. Like, they tried to build their team to beat Boston.
Can
And
we-
going into the season, we thought that.
Can
but
we
like,
give it
throughout
time?
this season, it's not that, okay, you can't count regular season. Playoffs is different.
But you do have to look at it and analyze it for what it is. I know they lost to all the
good
top
teams.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they lost
if
to
it
all
was
the top
just
teams.
Boston, all right, maybe something could switch. But
Yeah.
you lost to all the good teams.
It's okay. We weren't fully like we haven't been consistently healthy, right? And then also Mitchell Robinson just came back. So give it some time, bro.
How
Let
much
us
do
get
you
into
need?
it.
How much
I'm
time
fine-
you
I'm
need?
fine.
Like, we got
I
like,
mean,
Yo, the NBA
It's
season
okay.
started in November, and y'all have not won against
pretty much
any top team.
unhealthy Mitchell Robinson, which is helping our
y'all got
defense.
like
It's
3
gonna
more weeks.
it's gonna help our defense going into the playoffs.
Y'all gonna be ready?
Just sit back and relax. Yes, he is playing, sir.
You gonna be ready
Just sit
in
back and
3
relax.
weeks?
Y'all niggas need to worry about old ass LeBron and motherfucking Luka right now. So shut the.
Why
You know what I mean? I'm just saying, y'all trying to come at me.
You
Y'all
understand?
trying to come at me. I know we're not talking about the West Coast, but
Yeah.
y'all coming at me, bro. Y'all gotta worry about your sorry ass team right
when
now.
I tell you he
Anyway.
went all state with
what I'm
the
saying?
voice, like
Like Cavs.
That came
Cavs.
from
We
the
on the
soul.
Cavs. We on the
It came
Cavs.
from the
We on the
soul,
Cavs. I'm
brother.
just saying, like y'all coming at us.
that
like,
was the soul.
I ain't
like,
say nothing
like,
about the Lakers.
We you didn't have
pause.
to
We
vote.
touched the soul on it real quick.
Nah,
In
I'm
a
just
word.
saying, like y'all coming at me. It's 3 against 1. I got it right. I got to
Definitely
defend
not.
myself.
I'm on your side.
You know
I'm
what
on
I'm
the
saying?
Knicks
Like,
side. What
again,
you
the
mean?
Cavs are
We was
legit.
all on the
Yeah,
Knicks side tonight.
I'm on the Knicks side, bro.
Darius Garland hasn't proved himself yet.
He ignoring me.
Donovan seen in the playoffs that he can't will a team over the hump. Evan Mobley, we don't know what that looks like. Jared Allen has had bad performances. DeAndre Hunter has got traded for a reason. Not saying that it's a solid fit. It works on paper.
Jared
let's-
Allen has to prove himself
That's
this
what I'm
postseason.
saying, like-
He had a terrible postseason.
That's what I'm
last year.
saying. They all did, except Donovan. Like Donovan's good, but he's not good enough to bring the team over the hump.
Not yet.
That's what I'm saying.
Not yet.
That's all I'm saying. He's great,
But they got a team though.
Yeah,
like
it's a
all of
team.
those
Yes,
players
they
are
do
not
have a team.
relied on individually.
but they're
Except
not good
for
enough to be.
that.
They're not good enough for balance purposes, for offensive purposes. They're not
They're
good
good
enough.
at-
Yeah.
they're
Not
good
in the
at
playoffs because
defense.
they're inconsistent. We've seen it already. The regular season doesn't mean anything. It's more pressure in the postseason.
We'll see. It's
What
gonna
do
be
you mean
exciting.
We've seen it already. What are you talking about? Last year?
Yeah, we've seen teams have done it where they choke. You know what I mean?
No.
The Knicks went to the championship. They beat the number 1 Heat team. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day.
What?
I'm saying the Knicks as an 8 seed beat a number 1 team. The
That was
Heat.
a lockout season.
It doesn't matter, my nigga. We went to the chip.
That's a fact.
That's what I'm saying. It happens in the playoffs. Didn't fucking the We Believe Warriors beat the Mavs? It happens, bro.
That was
It's the playoffs, bro. And they're
48
not
wins
like
team,
that. They're not like that. Relax.
So,
Anyway.
so who's the 8th seed right now?
Who's the 8th seed?
Orlando.
It's not.
They played them. They played them tough last year.
It's not.
They won 7 last year.
Orlando.
The Cavs are not losing.
Did it not go 7 last year, Steve?
The Cavs not losing.
Did
to the
the series go 7 games?
this year? The Cavs not losing to the Magic.
They won 7 games last year. That's what I'm
in
saying.
the first round.
The Mavs kind of took a free fall.
A Magic?
Yeah,
They've been hurt.
nah,
Paolo's been-
since Paolo came back, they took in the free fall. They was
France.
actually playing well while he was injured.
So
So,
Vron's, whatever this nigga name is.
yeah, we need to do a
Mark.
deep dive on them one day.
Yeah, facts. Not for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, last year these niggas were bottom feeders, but the Pistons, like their resurgence, like an old former coach of JB Bickerstaff turned that whole program around. Obviously, leading the way is Cade, but like, what do you think? Like, can he win Most Improved Player?
Yo, we gonna get a Malice in the Palace. If they make the playoffs, that team gonna fight somebody. Them in
Facts.
Houston.
They always
Them in Houston.
Yeah,
They
they
getting
ready.
a brawl this year.
Yeah, they ready for it.
We getting a
Yo,
brawl.
did
they
y'all
ready.
see? Did y'all see that clip? What's the kid that played for Golden State that was on the Warriors now? Poole. Did you
Jordan-
see the clip of Jordan
Oh,
Poole?
Oh yeah.
That nigga looked at him.
And he backed up too. He was like, "Okay, you got me."
Yeah,
And he got
Durant,
his shit
Jalen
punched
Durant,
after that.
right?
Yeah, he got
Durant.
his shit punched after that.
Nah, him and Jalen Durant, diesel ass nigga, and what's that nigga name?
Isaiah
What-
Stewart.
Yeah, Beef Stew.
Facts. They always want to smoke, bro.
You see what he did to Steph?
Yeah,
Come on.
But the fact that Steph challenged him though too. Steph wasn't backing down, so
Yeah,
respect that.
Yeah, Steph came back and hit that shot.
like, what do you think? Like JB, like what didn't work for JB on the Cavs that's working on obviously the Pistons?
I
I
think it
mean,
is
well, the Cavs he took, he grew the Cavs.
For sure.
I
Yeah.
guess they weren't confident that he could take that next step, which for some reason they're not confident with black coaches in taking that next step. They
Always the case.
barely even give him a chance.
Yeah.
But as far as coming to the Detroit, now the roster improved. They added Malik Beasley, Tim Hardaway
Vets.
Jr.,
the
Tobias
vets.
Harris.
Yeah.
They added some veterans around, some players. And
Castaways.
they had some talent. Cade Cunningham, a number 1 pick, all-star this year.
Facts.
Well, what was he averaging? Like 27?
25.
25?
25, 6, and 9.
Yeah.
25, 6, and 9. So he's a triple-double threat out there. He been nice. I've been
Facts.
loved his
Yeah.
game.
Facts.
So
And the
and Ivy's hurt.
He hurt. Yeah, early in the season.
So
Earlier
they
in the
still have
season.
some growth to
Yeah.
go. So I'm not, I haven't put eyes on them to really see
Not
what
yet.
the differences in systematically and
Got you.
shit
Oh,
like that.
got you.
But
I think to your earlier point, I think JB's a player development coach. He develops the players a lot. You know what I mean? Well, to your point, like he might not get them over the hump, but he's sustaining. Like he shows he's a good coach.
you gotta give him
Yeah,
And,
confidence.
and it's a young team. He has their ear because young players can kind of like be disconnected sometimes. They're not always tuned in.
Mm-hmm.
So he's doing something to kind of keep their attention, and they're all playing. They're clicking on all cylinders. So it's like they're not there yet, but they're in the right direction. They're trending in the right direction.
So they ain't shit.
right now,
No,
yeah,
in
for
the
sure,
playoffs,
for
yeah,
sure,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
They ain't shit.
But I think it's a combination of that and the vets. They're sitting at number 6 right now, 37 and 31.
Yeah, they have to play us in the like if we play.
If
them.
it started today, they
Yeah.
would play you all in the first round.
I
But,
think we'll play them.
I mean, that's a far cry from last season.
They're
You
one
know,
of these
far
teams,
cry.
right, where you'll see them in the playoffs and they'll give you a good 7 games, right?
Yep.
Even though you don't really expect them to win. But that could propel them for the future, especially with a player like Cade Cunningham. So
Facts.
that's
I think-
their goal.
Yeah, for sure.
They give you a good 7
Experience.
games if you're not prepared.
Yeah.
If you're not prepared, though. If
Physically,
you don't take
too,
them
they're ready to
seriously,
fight.
yeah.
So,
Facts.
you know what I mean?
They're definitely going to use that
Yeah.
intimidation factor. I mean, I like it. I like it.
What's their standing?
Number
6.
6, 37 and 31. So it's Knicks in the first round if it were to start today.
Don't do that.
Exactly.
Don't
See
do
what I'm
that.
saying? Like I don't.
Don't do
that. I don't get it, dog.
No.
Yeah,
And
I'm
He
stop,
gonna
stop
reach.
saying it's a 3-on-1.
He gonna
That's-
reach.
That's
He
crazy.
gonna reach.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
I
go ahead,
understand
go
if you
ahead,
want
reach.
to move on. My fault.
No.
Yeah,
I
let's
didn't
continue.
mean to
No,
bring that
no,
up.
no,
I didn't
continue.
mean to bring that
Nah,
up.
that was crazy.
See, wild takes.
Yeah.
Niggas like Roddy. Wild takes. Go ahead, sir.
Yo. This nigga Beef Stew. What y'all call this nigga? Bodega Cat?
Big bodega.
The big bodega.
Hey, yo.
What?
Hey, yo.
Yeah.
He may give Cat 120-point game in this series. Beef Stew gonna punk this nigga, son.
Oh, that's what I doubt, but they still gonna win.
Not gonna happen.
He's
Not
gonna punk him, but they still
It ain't gonna happen, Captain. Anyway,
So far, they 2-1 against the
because
Knicks this
once
season.
that voice starts,
Regular season.
you're not gonna do this to me.
That's a
New York.
6-game series.
Yeah, like it's over.
Oh,
6
yeah.
games.
Oh,
yeah.
with the Knicks
Yeah.
at least.
That's
That's,
okay.
that's 6 games.
Yeah,
Knicks is 6.
once Cat start using his real voice, it's
You're
over.
right.
Yeah.
Hi, how you doing? Like he can't do that. He can't come into the
Listen.
series like that, bro.
You're not gonna believe
Let's
me.
not, like we can't do that, bro.
You're not gonna believe
You know
me.
what I'm saying?
Yo, Beef Stew
It's over.
gonna kill that nigga. dog.
Anyway,
Kill
niggas
that
got worse
nigga,
takes
bro.
all the time, but niggas in the media, this old media, this old way of thinking, like
It's gotta stop.
yeah, like they need niggas like us now, like the new media, where we kind of like are fair and we're like give a great take. I feel like it's all a money grab now with the media for me. I mean, leading the way for me is Stephen A. Smith. So it's like, what are your thoughts on like this old media, like him renewing his contract for getting $100 million? I think what over 10 years is it?
Yeah,
Stephen A?
what's the years? 10 years?
I think it's 10 years for $100 million, I believe, or it might be more, or 5 for 20, or 5 for 100.
Yeah,
I'm not quite
10,
sure.
10 is not a big. It's a flex.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
it's not as big as
5-year, $100 million.
Yeah,
5 year.
5 year.
Yeah. I mean, shout out to him.
I mean,
getting
for
the money.
sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Shout out to him, but like, I
Yeah.
feel like the direction that sometimes he went in to get to where he is now, I think it was like distasteful for me.
You know what it was? I mean, back in the 90s, there were like several ways of covering the media coverage, right?
Yep.
In particular, like if you want to just talk about like the NBA or all sports in general, right? It was like the conversation, you know, you would have with like a Dan Patrick, where he just like kind of gives you what's going on in sports.
Yeah.
And then you have the what's the two guys, the black ball headed guy and the white guy.
Stews. You
Um,
talking about the Stews, the brothers?
no,
Mike Wilbon?
Mike Wilbon.
Okay.
Tony.
Coinizer?
And they were
Oh,
Tony
gotcha, gotcha.
Coinizer and Mike Wilbon kind of had like a debate, but
Part
it
of the
was,
interruption.
it was more of a gentle debate with a conversation, and they were leading the conversation down a certain path,
Yeah.
right? And then you had like the Romans burning, and the Romans burning was like very edgy, you know,
Mhm.
might be a little more passive aggressive than all of them.
yeah.
Flat out aggressive. Like there's
Yeah.
things that have happened on the Romans Burning show. And Stephen A was a regular guest on there.
Yeah.
I don't know if people really realize that.
Mhm.
So he kind of adopted that style, the Romans Burning style, which became popular because of its controversy, right? You might say something that is offensive
Yeah.
or, you know, like a viral, creating like viral moments by saying things that were a little more edgier.
Yeah.
And I think that in the time of transition where we came more into like reality television and things like that, the edgier, more personal conversation became more popular. And then you add on to it the debate styles, right?
Yeah.
And so then between the debates and being almost personal with your feelings about what's going on, it kind of turned into messy media. And in the messy media
Did he lead that?
era, I feel like he became the most popular. Even if he didn't lead it, because you can argue Rome led it, you can argue
In the social media
Skip
age.
led it.
I'm saying the social media age.
But like
yeah.
in the
As
social
a black
media
man,
age,
yeah.
for sure,
Mhm.
he's definitely the leader. And the problem with it, if you want to call it a problem, because it generated a lot of money, which I think was the point behind the media doing this. I think the problem with it is that the style created bad guys. So rather than us talking about our love of sports in NBA and basketball, like we did with the Dan Patrick era, like we
Yep.
did with the Tony Coinizer
Stuart Scott.
era,
Well,
right?
yeah.
We had to start then comparing
Yeah.
1A versus 1B. We couldn't love one without hating the other.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that just created like a certain toxic mentality
Culture.
in the media and culture that like we're now like trying to get away from today.
That's fair. I'm sorry.
Well, I agree with what you're saying. I just think it's more so the culture. I wouldn't blame media. The media follows culture. In my point, I don't think they dictate culture. They could influence it a little bit, but they follow it. They respond to the culture.
Media is like the reflection of the culture
Right.
for that
You know what I'm
time.
saying?
Yeah.
Now, I think the culture just has a bigger voice. Like, you know what I mean? With podcasts and a bunch of people able to communicate. When you're mentioning people who've had the negative media. Like really, it's like Skip Bayless, Stephen A. What's that fat black nigga?
Jason Whitlock.
Jason
We're
Whitlock.
not
Jason
even
Whitlock.
mentioning
Yeah,
his
fuck
name.
him. My
Fuck
bad.
him.
Word.
Yeah, you're
So
right.
it's like,
Not facts.
He ain't shit, bro.
He shits on all black athletes.
Yeah,
yeah, he's
fuck
top
him.
hated that nigga
Yeah.
in a minute.
Fuck you.
So it's like it's not that much. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not that much. I think another thing that's been the problem is all those shows that you was mentioning back in the day, when they tackled a player, when they talked about a player, they talked about that player. They gave him a segment. Like, you know what I mean? They spent like a good 5-7 minutes talking. So in that 5 minutes of talking about a player, it's kind of like a deep dive that kind of like covered all aspects of that player.
Mhm.
Nowadays, it's hot takes. You know what I mean? You just debate and you try to get your point out quickly. It's a hot take.
That's a good
So-
point, Ronnie.
Yeah.
I think that's
I
contributes
just
to it a lot.
Yeah,
And
I-
access to the players, like people take into account everything else
Yeah.
aside from just the game.
but I still feel like he fucked up though. I still feel like Stephen A. fucked up because I feel like what he's doing now with his platform on YouTube. I feel like he could have did that a long time ago when he was at his height. I'm not saying he's like come down from his pedestal, but he misled us in terms of like against us. He always like bashed us for whatever reason. Obviously, that might have been ESPN like in his ear, like you gotta bash this black athlete. And I feel like for me, he can't come back from that. He's doing well. I'm happy for his success, but it's like you did us dirty.
He just created a culture where it was okay to do
But
that.
you just
Where it probably like
it wasn't needed.
it wasn't needed. You know what I'm saying? Like it's okay that you love Michael Jordan. He's your greatest and favorite,
Yeah.
most favorite player ever, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, the way he made LeBron his second best player ever,
Yeah.
was kind of like shitting on him at the same time, right? Like you didn't have to shit on
how
him.
he vilified Kyrie during the
Yeah.
whole COVID situation.
Yeah,
like
like,
how-
That's where the problem lies.
yeah,
That's
that's what I'm
what
saying.
me,
Like that
yeah.
was like it's like come on, dog. Every
Yeah.
black issue is like he had to be the front man.
And then the fact that like Kevin Durant is not a media guy, we
Yeah.
all know that, right? I mean, like he just like the vitriol that he had behind everything he had to say about Kevin Durant, right? Like that's not necessary.
Right.
Like we can take a shot at Kevin Durant for the things he's done on court, but sometimes it seemed personal when it came from Stephen A.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I think
Yeah.
his tone of voice a lot. He chooses his words wisely, and you don't want to really get in a debate or a match with him with words because he really covers his bases.
Yeah.
But his tone of voice, the way he harps on things like the Kyrie situation, sometimes the Kevin Durant situation, it's just you can't understand it, and that sticks in people's minds. But I do agree with them in a sense where I don't think where he bashes on the brothers, on black people. He covers the sport where it's predominantly
but
black.
come on, man. Like
Come on, Ronnie.
He's had takes
Come
where
on,
he's
Ronnie.
like, you ever see him bash black people for like smoking weed?
Stay off the weed.
And it's like, I don't even smoke weed, right? But what are you talking about, Stephen A? Like, shut up. You from
Right.
Queens.
Yeah, but listen
Like,
to his point though.
Yeah.
Like you're like I smoke,
But
but like
but does it have to be so animated on television when he's talking about black people smoking weed?
yeah. I mean, but his point was, yo, this is costing you millions of dollars. If you're talking to somebody, right, and they're doing something like smoking weed that's costing millions of dollars, you're gonna be animated.
But you don't have just stay off the weed, bro.
it's costing them millions of dollars.
Yeah, stay off the weed, bro.
I-
And that same talk can be held off camera too.
Huh?
Just the same conversation can be held off camera to this athlete or to these athletes.
Yeah, but he
like
doesn't.
he speaks about a lot of times where he got a call from Carmelo Anthony or Allen Iverson. They're like, or Kobe Bryant. They're like, why didn't you reach out to me before you did that tape?
Right.
You got my phone number.
Right.
Right. And I've seen, and that's like a violation for me. Right. But he's spoken to these things so many times where it's like he normally like just blabbers off at the mouth without even like really checking his sources or reaching out to people the way he properly should. This is not a one-off thing. This is something that's been a part of his career where he'll say something and then have to backtrack or you'll hear about him having a conversation with somebody off
Yeah.
camera.
I'm sorry, Steve.
Yeah,
to cut you with
no.
some. But there's also like there's a baseball player, Japanese player, Shohei Ohtani. He said a rude comment, and then the next day he had apologized on air. He never does that for us. He never apologizes next day for his comments, regardless of even if there's medicine in the candy. It's still like he never apologizes for it.
Okay,
and
so
he continues this act over and over and over again.
I feel you. But to play devil's advocate, I just want to pull up a couple situations where I don't think he necessarily put down the black man. So, for instance, this whole situation with him and LeVar Ball and Lonzo, I thought that was all entertainment. And he actually helped put Lonzo on the map with all his talking and his back and forth with LeVar. And even the whole situation with Joe Mazzulla and that situation, when he was being attacked on there, he didn't necessarily put Joe Mazzulla down.
He defend.
He was kind of evening the playing field. I don't want to say
Yeah,
defend, but
Udoka situation.
I'm sorry, Joe Mazzulla.
Oh,
Ime Udoka
yeah.
situation. I'm sorry.
Like that's what I'm saying, right? He's covering something he's covering sports that's predominantly black, right? It's predominantly
Of course,
black.
yes.
So in instances that he's going against somebody, they're going to be black. There's a versus, right, that's happening. Just because he's going at at someone who's black, the person that he's praising is also black, but we always or seem to overlook that, right?
Have you said anything negative about any player on this podcast?
Yeah.
Negative?
Yeah.
Detrimental?
Huh?
Detrimental?
Okay,
No, because they
so-
ain't been listening to me.
So what you're
Yes,
saying?
yes,
so,
they are. They
but
will.
listen,
They will listen to
but
us.
what you're saying is he's demonstrative in his criticizing black people, right? But he's also demonstrative in his praising, right?
He's a demonstrative person.
Okay, so then answer this question for me because this is a really good example. I'd love to know why.
Mm.
Right? He's, as we all established, he's a demonstrative person. And when you're wrong, he can be demonstrative about it. And if not, 99% of the time, he will have something crazy or a crazy take or something to say on television. Shannon Sharpe and Skip. Bro, Skip was dead wrong for what he did.
Facts.
Humiliated this guy on television. They're literally going up against you in television.
Yeah.
Right? That's your competitor. Right? At the same time, you've had your dealings with this guy on television and off television. Nothing but love for this guy on television. Never called him out, nothing. You called Jason Whitlock out. No problem. Called him a fat bitch, all that. But we all see him treat Shannon Sharpe like a fucking slave.
You take it.
Oh, no. We saw him treat Shannon
You're
Sharpe like
taking it
a
out
fucking...
of context.
I'm taking it out of context?
Yeah,
Wait,
I think
the
the
Stephen
Stephen
A.
A. part you
Wait.
are because he did come out and speak about.
He said
the-
Whitlock was a fat bitch. He
Yeah.
said that.
He did come out and speak about the Skip and Shannon situation.
Oh, but he did. He was
Respectfully,
not demonstrative.
yes,
He was
that's-
very respectful
thank you.
about it.
as he should, because the person who put him in this position, who granted his come up, was Skip. So you got to pay that respect and know your place. And that's
Know
not
your
your
place.
situation to speak on. You wasn't involved in that.
Nah, I disagree.
And he came and did the right thing by picking up Shannon and giving him a better opportunity
Ronnie,
as he should.
I completely disagree, bro.
Yeah.
I completely
agree too.
disagree. If you're gonna sit there and you're gonna call out these athletes and all these people in media the
He
way
did
that you
call them
do,
out.
hold on. If you're gonna be demonstrative, the way that you call out people in media
Facts.
and the way you get on people, you can't say that this man has to know his place when it comes to Skip Bayless.
I didn't say he has to know his place. I said he has a certain level of respect for Skip Bayless. And what he did was he did talk about the situation. He did put it out that it was a Fox Networks thing happening, and he put it out that he warned Shannon of what's going on.
That wasn't good enough, bro.
That was great. That was more than good enough by coming back and giving him a job.
No.
That's crazy.
Hold on.
That's crazy.
So listen, we're not talking about him giving a job. He was supposed to do that. That was the right thing to do.
Right.
What I'm saying is keep that same energy when it's a white dude that does a black dude wrong in media.
He did.
Because you had that energy for Jason Whitlock.
Right.
As he should, because them two niggas is enemies, and Jason Whitlock has been going up against everybody, and Jason Whitlock has been antagonizing multiple people, multiple black people.
Let me
so
tell you
it wasn't
something.
just him
Let me
that
tell you
went at
something.
it.
Just
Jamel
hold on.
Time out. Defended Stephen A. against that situation.
Time out. Because Skip had no problem calling out Stephen A.
What?
Skip has no problem calling out Stephen A.
And he does it with a certain level of respect.
No,
Watch the whole thing.
he'll still call out Stephen A. and Stephen A. will not
How
say
did he call
anything
him
about. Look it up.
Tell me. You
Look
bring
it up. Look it up right now. Because
You
I
bring it
don't
up,
even
tell
want to
me.
make up the words of what he said, but it was to the point where Stephen A. was called out by Skip Bayless when they were trying to get them both to come back and do like a face-off, one against Fox, against ESPN.
And Stephen A. has gone against Skip. He was for like a month straight. Every day he went on. he went on his show and he was calling out the numbers.
Skip calls out
And he-
Stephen A. Because I want to be clear on this. I don't want to make anything up. I don't want to say anything
All
that's
right,
not
but
true.
I'm telling you what I know. I
But
know
I'm
I'm not
telling you
making up
right
things
now,
right now.
Stephen A. don't need
Stephen A. was going at Skip every day. He was going in and
I'm
plugging
not
in
talking
shows
about
right
when
in.
they played together. I'm not talking
What are you
about
talking
when they
about?
was
No,
on
I'm
television
not talking
together.
about it. This is recently. I'm talking about while he was at Fox. He was going over the numbers that the shows are doing, claiming that we're number one and putting Skip's show down. He was doing all of that. He has a role to play. Like we can't. Like there's
Nah,
things that
you're
Stephen
wrong,
A.
Ronnie.
has done.
Ronnie,
and Stephen A.
Ronnie, you're wrong,
And
bro.
what?
Because
What?
he don't keep the same energy, and that's what the conversation, that's what the topic is. Like he don't keep the same energy. His reaction is different compared on who he's talking about. But he has no problem
You're talking about
doing
him.
these things.
You're
to
talking
people.
about him
Hold
versus
on.
a colleague
But he has
versus
no,
an
no.
athlete. That's two
Because he
different
has no
things.
problem going into the media and saying these things about people's phone numbers he has in his cell phone
What are you
without
talking
even
about?
talking to him.
Like what?
Like when he brought up what he said to Carmelo, when Carmelo reached out, what he said about Carmelo,
What
then
did he
Carmelo
say?
called him and said, "Dude, why'd you say that? You have my cell phone number."
But what did he say?
When he did it to Allen Iverson, and Allen Iverson said, "You could have called me. I did your first interview." When Kobe Bryant tracked him down on the phone and said, "Why didn't you call me first?" These are stories, but he don't have that same energy for Skip.
All right.
When Skip embarrasses this dude on
So let
national
me speak.
television,
Let-
what'd he say?
Let me speak.
Nah, I'm still
Before
trying
you,
to find it.
before you say that, let me speak. All those stories that you mentioned, you're not saying that he said anything disrespectful. You're saying that the players had something upset. Multiple people had things upset when they're hearing their names. The thing he said about Kobe was about a game. The thing he said about Melo was about his contract, and he thinks that Melo went after the money instead when he should have not signed with
Nothing
the
to
Knicks
do
and
with
not
the
been
game.
traded to the Knicks. He should have waited. And the thing about Miami, where he didn't go to
He
Miami.
also, he
So-
also spoke about the people that Melo was hanging around at the time.
Bring that up. I don't remember that because what he talked about was about his him being traded to the Knicks from Denver. He should have waited and shit like that. And none of the stories you're saying are shit about disrespectful. Niggas can't come and check you about
What
shit
you
that
mean
you're
about
saying.
being disrespectful? I'm saying Skip was disrespectful.
Yeah.
I'm saying that
Let me-
Stephen A. in his articulate
Let me-
way of speaking
let me ask you
could
this
have been
question.
a little more demonstrative when he got out Skip and wasn't. He
Real-
gave him a pass.
Real quick.
As he should.
No,
Real
he
quick.
shouldn't.
Recently on the Gil Arenas podcast, Stephen A. made an appearance
Mm.
and he compared himself to the Jordan of the media world. Do you agree with that?
He just got $100 million.
No, I'm just asking the question.
like what are you
I
talking
mean-
about in terms of skill?
I mean, the Jordan in the media world is probably Charles Barkley because he got like 300 million, right?
He's going to
So he
possibly.
got like a lot more, but he's up there. So I mean, he could call himself whatever he want to. You walking around with 100 million.
So do you like old players bashing current players? You like what Charles Barkley does? How he always drags KD?
it's a way of doing it, right?
You can't.
It's a
Now,
way
before
of
you
doing
go, you cannot have that much smoke for Stephen A. and not have that much smoke for Charles
I don't
Barkley.
respect what Stephen A. do all the time.
Um,
I don't think he's consistent.
Right.
I think Charles Barkley is consistent. I don't think that Stephen A. is consistent.
That's fair.
Charles Barkley is the biggest suck up to white folks I've seen in
Oh
my
yeah,
life.
yeah, that's a fact.
So,
That's a fact.
Huh?
But we're not. I just said he was consistent. I didn't say
Alright,
I
so
didn't get
that's
my-
more. That's
Stephen A. is
I ain't gonna say
inconsistent.
what I think it is.
Yeah, Stephen A. is
I got much more respect for Stephen A. than I do Charles Barkley.
Okay, for whatever reason you don't like what he says, I get it.
No,
But-
I don't like that he sucks up to white people. I could give a fuck what he says.
Okay, but that's not the conversation. My argument this entire time has been consistency. I'm arguing consistency. I'm not arguing what you're saying.
What about
I think-
what
I
about
think
Barkley bashing
Stephen A. is
older players?
consistent.
Bashing older players or older players bashing current players. You guys like that? Because Barkley leads the way in that. He
I think
always
that, I
attacks
think that
KD.
shit is trash, bro.
Why do you think he does it? Or why do you think they do it?
Because he thinks his era was the best era. Just like Stephen A. and them, they all think that Michael Jordan era was the best era of basketball, and nothing compares to it.
But
Which
the
is-
previous era did that to them too. Did that to the Jordans and the Charles Barkley. Like it just wasn't.
We don't know
as
that.
publicized.
I'm saying
Nah.
we don't know that.
We do, we do know
No, in
that.
terms of
From
like,
Wilt to Jordan, like
I'm saying
yeah.
the platform, guys. Let's stay current right now. Let's not go back in the day. Currently, do you like the fact that how this is all we know, right? We were younger back then, so we didn't really
No,
know
but
to
that's
the
not
full
all
extent.
we know. We do know this.
Okay. Again, Charles Barkley. Do you like the fact that he's dragging these players
No,
in this
No.
current generation, guys?
hell no. I think it needs to stop. Like there's a space for it.
Yeah.
And there's certain things that you can talk about. But then when you're just coming off as a fucking hater all the time, and that's all you do is just hate on everybody.
Yeah.
Then I mean, like, yeah, maybe there's a popularity thing there, but you got to know the difference between what they call it in news media, a news anchor and an entertainment. Like, what are they called?
Commentator and an analyst.
A comment, yeah,
color,
like the-
color
yeah, like
commentary.
one is like a gesture,
Yeah.
or a gesture. What is it called? A jester,
Jester.
a court
Yep.
jester.
Yep.
Court
One's a
jester.
fucking clown,
Yeah.
and the other one is an actual subject matter expert.
Mm.
So there's a difference in the two. And so, like, when you turn on CNN, you don't know what you're watching unless you're aware that some people on CNN are not actual anchors, news anchors or journalists. Some of them are actually there to entertain you and just say whatever they're saying. I think that Charles Barkley falls more in the gesture, even though he can and easily could become a subject matter expert
Yeah.
because he's one of the greatest to play the sport.
Yeah.
But he chooses to be the funny hee hee ha ha, let me dance for
Yeah.
you
A character.
caricature of himself that kind of like, you know,
I don't think he's
aims
choosing.
aims to
You don't think what?
please
I don't think
aims
he's
to
choosing.
please white media, right? And so then, yeah, like if you look at it like that and see exactly what it is that he does on a regular basis, if you're knowledgeable to know that he's just like a gesture, then you have more respect for lesser anchors that do the work, like
Yeah.
Jamel Hill, and you know, you can go into a whole laundry list of people that are out there actually doing the journalism,
Yeah. For
writing
sure.
the columns, earning the
Right.
respect of the players, and doing the job the right way. They just don't. They're just not as popular and don't get as big a checks or airtime as
Facts.
you know Charles
It's
Barkley.
entertainment nowadays.
But shouldn't we
For
respect
clicks.
what we're saying? What if Charles Barkley is telling the truth as far as his critique of the players?
Calling KD a bus driver? What do you call him? Like, that's a crazy take, bro.
That's disrespectful.
That's what I'm
man.
saying.
I don't think so. I think that's the truth. I think we say that all the time. When the other day when we were asking where we're ranking these guys, and I said that KD is not tier 1 or he's the bridge from tier 1 to tier 2.
That's your opinion, and that's just a basketball opinion, right? It made sense. What you said made sense,
Right.
okay.
You call this dude a bus driver to 40 million people?
No. He didn't call him a bus driver. He was giving an analogy of there's people who drive the bus to a championship and there's people who are passengers. He was saying that KD is a passenger because he was on the Warriors and that Stephen Curry was the driver of the bus. He didn't call KD
My
a
nigga,
bus driver.
Regardless, it's
That's
pretty
not
bad.
disrespectful.
Yeah, because
The way he said it and the way that they carried it on and the conversation around it. All right, if you're listening and you're KD, you
It's
take it as
disrespectful.
disrespect.
It is,
It
because
is.
it is.
It's
Yeah,
not what
whenever you say 2 sentences about somebody, they got the right to take that as disrespect.
But no, like what you said was a basketball analogy of where you thought he stood
Correct.
in the rankings.
right.
And anybody who's a diehard KD fan that listened to what you say, even if they disagreed, they wouldn't say, "Oh,
I
he's
was being
blatantly
disrespectful.
trying to take a shot at KD." Also, I think that as we get deeper into this role that we have, right, and our audience and our viewers grow, shout out to our 100th subscriber.
105. 105.
As we
Thank you.
grow, right, we will then begin, not that it'll take away from the integrity of the game, but we'll be more conscious of the audience that we're speaking to. You know that KD's family, his mom,
His brother, yeah.
you know, like 40 million people are watching you right now, right? And you just shitted on this man's career.
Right.
Regardless of how you feel, you have a certain responsibility, not just to the fans, the media, but to those basketball players you're talking about. To
It's
at
a brotherhood
least-
as well.
yeah,
at the
like
same
at
time.
least deliver the news in a way that's honest, fair, and respectful.
It's not what you say, it's how you say it. That's all.
I totally agree, and obviously we try to do it here. Like
That's
you know
what I'm saying.
and we have right. Yeah, but we have a certain level or a certain way or regard that we talk about these players. Now, former players, right? They always start off by criticizing the media and saying we don't like the way the media is covering the game, our game. But when these players come on their podcasts or are in the media, What are they doing differently? Draymond has gone on his podcast. He's criticized players in a negative way, disrespectful way. Shaq, player, done it. Charles, player, done it. Like, you go down the list, Gilbert Arenas podcast, every one of them players on there have done it. Like, there is a certain way when you're just human and that you're just talking. These podcasts represent barbershop, living room setting. Now, when you're speaking, when you're speaking,
that's a good point, right?
You're keeping it truthful. You're keeping it thing. Now, Stephen A's, Charles Barkley's, Shaq's, they do have a bigger responsibility.
And before you go further, Ronnie, not all of those settings are barbershop talk.
Correct.
Like Stephen A. shit is not barbershop talk.
Correct.
Right? That's more like mass media.
Exactly.
Right.
Right.
Daily.
That's not barbershop talk.
Daily.
Gil's Arena, that's barbershop talk.
Right.
But it's
Right.
also daily though. But yeah.
It's daily, but
Yeah,
it's
Yep,
still
yep.
the setting is basketball talk.
Facts. I agree.
So there is a difference there.
So I think, again, tying it all up with these media members, I think it's a fine line, right? Charles Barkley, I think that's just him. He doesn't look to be media trained. He's been doing this for a while, but he's not somebody who came into the business to be media trained. He's speaking how he would speak in the locker room versus how he would speak at home. That's just how he speaks. I think that's him.
Right.
They try to balance it out with a person like Kenny. Kenny is an example of who we talk about, who tries to, you know what I mean, say
fair.
everything, be fair.
That's all?
Or be politically correct. Like, there's a difference.
Kenny act like he's trying to get a coaching job.
Exactly.
Well, they say he's going to be a general manager, or he could be.
He's applied.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I mean, it's just what you say. It's not, you know what I'm saying? Like,
It's
just
how you say it. And that's the problem with Stephen A. is how he says things. I think
you might mean well,
yeah,
but you have the responsibility. You have a larger audience that you're talking to.
I think there's
That's
specific situations with like a Stephen A., Kyrie, certain times with a KD.
So was he wrong with what he said about Bronny?
The as a father part, LeBron has every right to react how he reacted. What did Stephen A. technically say something wrong? No, but you're speaking to a father. That father, if you say something along those lines, has the right to react.
So what did Stephen A. say that was wrong?
He said,
Because
as a father, I'm asking you to stop. That implies that you think that father is doing something to harm his child. And that was the problem.
And your job is to commentate on the basketball game. That has nothing to do with the game. That's from where I saw it from. But to summarize what he was saying, this is part of media. This is how it's always been. How it's delivered and who delivers it, that's all that changes. But you're going to have your negative media. You're going to have your positive. You just said it. The color commentator. It's always how it's been. I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. It's different now because we see it more now because of this is society. It's everywhere. Back in the day, it was only when you turned on the TV to ESPN at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock.
Do you remember Bill Walton calling these games?
Yeah.
He used to trash players.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. Like, it was funny because it was Bill Walton. But if you're a player on the other end, everyone else is laughing. You're not particularly laughing. Like, you know what I mean? These type of things have been going on. Yeah. Like you're saying,
it's just highlighted more often now.
Of course.
And not saying you're
that's
wrong.
what I said, this generation.
Think about the settings on all these different things we talk about. They're all different settings.
But it's the same type of...
Yeah. So that's why I said there's an appropriate place for it. I don't think that the appropriate place for it is on mass media coverage. I think that you should have a little more respect on mass media coverage.
Right.
That's how it should be.
The barbershop talk, we gonna all talk shit in basketball about anything in barbershop talk. On a smaller scale, if it's on a broadcast and you're like the face of the Boston Celtics or whoever it is you're covering and you're talking shit about the other team, then it's kind of like, okay, like your team is the Celtics. You always see that. You hear that bias when it's a homer.
What's this dude on the Celtics he used to commentate? Tommy Heinz.
Oh my God.
I hated listening to him.
Like, but you understand that he's the homer.
So
right?
That's why he had to do what he had to do.
All I'm saying is that Stephen A. is not in the right setting to do what he does.
You still haven't given me specific good examples. Now, there are situations where I think he's been dead wrong, and probably as if it was a black world,
Yeah.
black-owned media, he would have been fired or
But
stepped
the
to
thing
or
also,
that something.
there was also a time when Colin Kaepernick was trying to get back into the league. And like he died, like he just said the information. Like I feel like he put Colin Kaepernick on blast because there was a situation where he was supposed to schedule a workout at this facility, like this place. But then he
literally-
changed it.
He literally
But
got
see-
his co-host fired, bro.
Huh?
He got his co-host Max. Didn't he get Max
Oh, Max
fired?
Kellerman.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Bro,
But it's like
he
shit like
said
that. It's just like shit like because Max was standing up for us and Stephen A wasn't at the time, at that particular time. I forget what was happening transpired
Nigga,
within
was
that,
it
that
the
window.
TO thing? It was something.
It
that
might
he-
have been something, right?
That's the narrative that was
Yeah.
going around.
No, it wasn't.
No.
It could be true.
Stephen
it could
A.
be true
said it.
personally.
But
He
remember-
didn't say that. He
Stephen
didn't
A.
say,
said
he did
that.
not
I
say it was
remember
a
TO.
TO thing. He said
But-
him and Max, the ratings, even though they stayed number one, it showed that it was people weren't
Okay,
standing.
but
Max
against
was
it.
connected to me, but he would definitely stand up for us. Max more than
Right.
Stephen A for a window or a period of time.
Okay, and T.O. said Stephen A. Max
Oh,
acts like he blacker than you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. But that was 2-3 years before. That's narrative that's going around on the internet that we're following, that we're attributing it. Maybe it's true personally. Stephen A. felt like that. We don't know that.
Stop playing with me, Ronnie. You playing in my face
You
right now.
crazy, so.
But any,
Nah, the show with Max was getting stale.
it was whack.
You know
But
what I'm
my
saying?
nigga,
Nah,
you
yeah,
could
he did
like
say he didn't like working with him.
nah, my
That's
nigga.
what I'm saying. He
Nah,
did say it.
my nigga,
He
undisputed.
didn't like working with him.
No,
Yeah,
my
he said
no,
that.
my nigga.
Yeah, not
no,
T.O.
my nigga. Undisputed was a phenomenon. That's why they were losing viewership. Shannon was acting a fool on Undisputed at one point in time, wearing the goat mask, being a fool, being unk. That's how he got unk.
The black and
Oh,
mild.
so
Right,
that has
that's
nothing
yeah.
to do with T.O. That's not,
No, I'm just, but they had their
Yeah.
riff where Max was still like speaking up for black
ratings.
issues.
They had
more,
that kind of riff.
But again, as a black man having that platform, you weren't doing your job or your due.
Come on, man. Max
For
is
us.
on there quoting Wu-Tang and Biggie and Nas.
Hey, yo, no white man's gonna ever get
Stephen
you with
A.
that
didn't even
shit,
know the
man. Don't
words.
quote none of that shit to me, son. No white man don't
What?
quote none of that shit to me, man. I don't care what this
All I'm
nigga
saying
saying
is,
right now.
dog,
Don't come to me
that's-
quoting on Wu-Tang.
That's it, man.
I don't
That's
give a
all I'm
fuck.
saying. But I wanna also give Stephen A. his flowers because I feel like he's made a resurgence as well. Like he has his podcast now with on YouTube. He has his cousin his nephew on there acting a fool.
Yeah.
Is that his real
nephew?
Yeah.
That nigga funny.
Yeah.
That's his real
Real
nephew.
nephew,
I
yeah.
was wondering.
He's a
that.
fool.
Did you see him put up the old Stephen A. pictures?
Yes. The other day with the white
man.
tuxedo.
Oh, yo, yeah, funny looking niggas, man.
But yeah, bro,
Yeah.
he's got it. He's doing it well. And then that he's also bringing along other black personalities.
That's what I'm saying.
My nigga, I just said I'm giving him his flowers just now.
I know.
But you
I'm
just,
just
but
trying
now,
to
see,
get ahead.
you just told me I wasn't listening. Nigga, you just said I wasn't listening. You just said I wasn't listening. Now you not listening. I'm saying.
Go ahead.
But there's been multiple women that he's put on, multiple black people that he's put on. You know what I mean? Like ESPN has a roster of just black talent, like from obviously
Past and present.
huh? Yeah,
Past
that's
and
what I'm saying.
present.
Yeah, past for sure. In football, you have Marcus Spears, you have Ryan Clark, you have I can't even think now. I'm on the spot. But then you have black women like Carrie
what's her name?
Champion. You know what I mean?
Carrie
Carrie Champion. Maria Taylor, who's now on NBC. Then that spawns off like to the Joy Taylors of the world.
Taylor Rooks.
Monica
Right.
McNush.
Monica
Taylor
McNush,
Rooks.
LaChina
Rooks.
Robinson.
I mean, Joy Taylor allegedly with the whole situation a
Hey,
couple weeks back. You
It
know
is
what I
what
mean?
it is.
Hey, man. You
But
know what I mean?
still.
Shout out to it is what it is. But yeah,
Skip was in that too, wasn't he?
possibly in that lawsuit.
Yeah.
Stephen A.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying, Stephen
I'm
A.
saying.
had something to say about
You know
that.
what I mean? Like
Yeah,
because
go
also
ahead.
Monica McNutt. Shout out to her.
Yeah, word.
Pause.
Pause. That's her last name. Pause.
That was a crazy one though.
I just think like, and then now like with Taylor Rooks, Blake Griffin, Dirk, and Carmelo are going to be pretty much a part of a Amazon
Yep.
analysis team.
Amazon?
Jamal
I
Crawford.
think it's. I believe it's Amazon.
Or
Is Jamal
NBC,
Crawford
one of
on
them.
there?
Huh? I think it's through Amazon though.
Mm.
I believe.
Is it Jamal
I
Crawford
don't.
on
I
there?
don't know.
so.
Can you?
Yeah, he is on it.
Yeah,
He's on
right.
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's on
Shout out to Jay Crossover. Once Nick, always Nick, and all that. But what do you guys expect from
Who's a
this
Clipper?
like this team that they put together?
of Dirk, Jamal, Carmelo,
Yeah,
And
and Blake Griffin.
Crawford.
and Blake. Good analysis. I mean, I catch Carmelo on 7 p.m. in Brooklyn, and I think he's
Shout
gotten
out.
a lot better. He signed for a reason. And this is going to be part of the Amazon broadcast, I think.
Yep.
So it's a good starting point.
What are
So
they going to be
where's-
covering?
Basketball.
Like what? Like the regular season, the playoffs,
That I don't know.
When does it
I'll
start?
Sundays?
It's probably next year. sometime.
And y'all saying this is Amazon? What?
Yeah, because remember the new TV deals? I
Yeah,
think
because you know how
So
the
this is
NFL's
on
on
Amazon?
Amazon.
Yeah,
Yeah?
yeah.
I just don't know what. Like, I'm wondering
The
when
full details?
what time.
I thought it was an NBC thing.
Yeah,
I don't
so
believe
that would be
so.
Sundays.
Oh
then,
yeah,
right?
NBC Studio Analyst.
But
NBA
it's
on NBC.
through Amazon though, right? It's some shit with Amazon.
NBA on NBC.
Okay, I thought it was
Yeah, I thought it
Amazon.
was NBC. That's what I heard.
Interesting.
Um,
I'm looking forward to that. I think
Because-
that's gonna be dope.
When's the last time NBC has been?
they
That's
haven't
since,
been
like,
holding
Marv
the
Albert.
NBA games.
No, I'm saying
lately.
Marv Albert was calling the games at that point in time.
Rest in peace.
I mean, I've heard Jamal Crawford. He's pretty good. I haven't seen Carmelo do this. The
Or
other
Blake.
people.
So
Or Blake.
Carmelo's studio coverage and the broadcast is going to be Mike Tirico, Reggie Miller, and Jamal Crawford.
Okay.
What's Blake Griffin
Jamal's
doing?
doing that now, actually.
Studio
Yeah,
analysts.
yeah.
They're the
And
studio
Reggie Miller's
analysts.
good.
Yeah.
So Blake Griffin's got a ton of personality. Everybody
Yeah.
knows that.
Nah,
Like,
Yeah.
he's a comedian.
He's good.
He's funny. You don't like him? He's a Zoe, man. Come on,
Yeah,
bro.
this new media, nothing negative.
He's actually funny.
We're part of
He's
that.
got dry
We're part of
comedy,
that.
but it's dry comedy. I get dry
it's like
comedy,
the
so I
Office
find
funny.
it. Yeah, it's like Office funny. I
Yeah.
think he's
It
funny.
ain't funny, man. This nigga is just a 6'9" nigga with a personality. So we call him funny. Nah, he just has a personality.
A former
He's
number
funny.
one pick, so he's seen that. He's seen that. He like
Nigga
got
got a
hurt.
normal
Like,
personality.
I'm saying, but think about the storyline. A former number one pick, then like into your seat, like into your career off the bench, right? Like he's been through the ups and downs, so he can kind of give that perspective. Melo almost not the number
But
one
that has
pick.
nothing to do with him being an analyst. I'm
Yeah, no.
talking about him as a comedian.
No,
type
but
shit
I'm saying,
like
but in
that.
terms of
I mean, I
a
don't know.
new media we talking about, so he
Yeah.
has it from that lens.
He
Dirk has
might
it
be
from that
good.
lens.
He might be good at the job.
Damn,
I
like
don't know.
I mean, bash it, like good, give niggas some space. That's all.
My fault, man.
Niggas can't grow down Roddy. Goddamn, bro.
Stephen A is my influence.
Say clearly.
I really don't.
Click.
I've never even. Yeah,
Like, you know what I'm saying?
bro.
Like Melo, we don't know what Melo's going to be like. But I mean, that perspective, like being blackballed from the league, like he can kind of come from that perspective. Dirk,
Yeah, I love this. What do y'all mean studio? What does that mean? In what?
I don't know.
probably like what Jalen
So,
Rose did.
Yeah, you know when they go to halftime in the studio. Yeah,
Or
they
before
won't,
the
they
game.
won't be broadcast. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like breaking down what Scottie
Yeah.
Pippen would
That's
try to
it.
do.
Who's a
Halftime.
Who's a journalist in there? Who's the sport?
Taylor Rooks.
Okay,
Taylor Rooks.
Yeah, and she's great.
yeah,
And
that's,
she, you know what I mean?
that's gonna be a fun.
Shout
time.
out to like Women's Month.
Where shout
as
out
well.
to Women's Month.
But yeah, man, I mean, it's crazy. So Women's Month, obviously Diana Taurasi recently retired. Obviously go UConn. Shout out to
Hell
UConn
yeah,
women's
go
basketball. Hella accolades. I don't really count. It's long-winded. She has a long list of like accolades from college through the W, through
Overseas.
Olympic. Yeah, exactly. So she's a champion.
She got
To the
right,
highest degree.
to
What do you think,
GOAT
Steve?
status.
Like, what you frowning over there, player?
No.
No comment. No comment. No
I
comment.
overlook at this nigga. I overlook at this nigga. Like, nah. I mean, she got the right to claim GOAT status in the women's game.
Facts.
So
Whoa,
Yeah,
she
yeah,
nice.
I mean,
Nice,
hey.
nice.
3 NCAA championships,
That's what I'm
3 WNBA championships,
Where's she
and
from?
6 gold medals.
where'd she play
UConn,
college
bruh.
at?
UConn, bro. Yeah, I mean,
One of the girls.
yeah, I mean, go Huskies and all that. Like, she's decorated. She's also transitioned the W to where it is today. You know what I mean? So it's like
Yeah,
kudos to her and putting her on the back. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, so she stood by Brittany Griner's side during her whole debacle.
That's true.
You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, they were teammates in Russia. They were teammates here in Phoenix. So shout out to Diana. Another young woman that's killer at USC, Juju Watkins. She just signed a deal with Fanatics. It's kind of like a trading card deal. So tournament's coming up pretty soon. I mean, I'm not following women's basketball right now. What are your chances? Or like, what do you think their chances are? No disrespect, man. No disrespect, man.
We just know standout women who doing their thing. I
Facts.
don't know nothing about their record or nothing, but
That's
Juju
all.
Watkins nice, man.
See, so she just passed.
We trying, bro. We
Caitlin's
trying.
Caitlin
Caitlin Clark's
Clark's.
record
Yeah.
for the most points in the first 2 seasons
Shout out.
was
Which is-
1,684.
Goddamn.
1,684 points
Goddamn.
in the first half of the season.
First 2
Cooking.
seasons.
In the
And
first
Clark
2
had
seasons,
1662.
who Juju did?
Juju got 1684. Clark got 1682. 1662.
Goddamn. She nice.
Oh, bro.
I mean,
I know-
it kind of sucks because women have to stay all 4 years. How much of a benefit would it be if she can kind of leave early
Nothing.
into the W? You don't think it'd be nothing?
It
It'll
would
be a benefit.
She probably make less money.
True,
Damn,
not to
yeah.
her.
but just
I mean,
a window of
her
opportunity
game,
for
her
the
game,
girls.
Yeah.
Because they're making more money. In
Yeah, for
college,
sure,
man.
NIL and all that. But
Yeah, she wouldn't come out. Oh,
what's
damn,
your
that's right, she
dream of
wouldn't
like
come out.
making it to the highest level of basketball? You know what I'm saying? Like, what if she can do
I
that a
don't
little
think the
earlier?
women have that dream.
You don't think so?
Mm-mm.
What are you talking about?
I don't think that their dream is like the WNBA. I think that they speak a lot about like making money. They speak a lot about like getting the exposure, being on television. Now that we're talking about basketball deals and things like that, I don't think the WNBA ranks like top 3 on that list of things that they're looking for. I mean,
It might be heading in that direction.
might be
with
heading
the
in
way
that
the
direction.
contract, with the new broadcasting contract that they
you know,
just
we
had.
talk about
Right.
all these other avenues for them to make money and get the notoriety and get the basketball deal, get the Fanatics deal, get the sneaker deal. Like, I don't think the WNBA is like top 3 on that list for the women. I think they have a different.
I mean, you
perspective
got to
on
think
It
about it
depends
though.
on the women too.
But it's
though.
also a young league. It's only 29 years old. Like next month is going to be 29 years. So it's very, very like young. So it's like give it an opportunity to allow it to fester. Maybe this new crop of women, girls, young girls,
Hopefully, I mean,
because the money's going to be there eventually too. I think you know what I mean, because now they have like practice facilities, they have team charter flights, so it's like they're growing. Maybe not at the rate of men's basketball, but they're growing.
When did
slowly.
it- when
it's
did the
growing 'cause
NBA
the women
start?
they're branding themselves as well too.
What was
so the women they're
Of
branding
course,
themselves
yeah.
as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I'm
what
saying.
year, what
Give
year did the NBA start?
So
What's 75 years? No, 100 years. 75 years, right?
yeah,
It's like
it's like 49, 50, something
Yeah.
like that.
So 49, 50. So
54.
30 years into the NBA was like the 80s.
yeah. Remember, niggas was
Yeah.
doing cocaine.
That
nigga.
was tape delay.
Remember, Jordan was saying cocaine.
So that's the era we're in with the women's basketball right now. It's like
maybe
the
Magic
80s.
and Bird. So Caitlin Clark, Juju.
Nah, we just entered the 90s with the women's.
You think so? I'm saying
there's
like,
a lot of good players.
are
Yeah.
there? I'm saying rivals. Are there any rivals?
Yeah,
Because
speaking
I
of
feel
that,
like they get
yes.
traded so much.
Yes.
That's all.
Yeah.
Like Kelsey Plum just got traded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
I like
so
that.
that created a rival with the
She going
with
to
the
the
Aces.
Sparks.
Yeah, with the Sparks. Yeah, that's
How did
a
that create a
solid team.
rival? Like it's not like an average trade.
So why she left the Sparks? There's supposedly a lot of friction there as
Oh,
well.
her?
okay, so
I didn't know
okay,
Yeah, so that's what I'm.
okay, okay,
I
okay.
didn't know that.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know that either.
There was some friction.
I
there.
mean,
I'm saying, I
thank you
follow
for
it.
the, no,
I
thank you,
know
no, thank
that.
you for the inside news.
No,
Thank you.
because
Thank-
especially with
Thank you for the inside.
speaking of rivals,
Yeah.
Unrivaled, the women's league, I
Yeah.
think that's the best thing happening. Like the
But
three-
that's what I'm saying.
On
yeah.
television?
not the for them for the league.
Oh, you just
for
talking
women's
about for
sports.
women's
For the
still?
sports,
Oh,
for
it's new
women's sports,
viewership.
yeah.
It's new
What
eyeballs.
channel does that
Yeah.
come on?
That's on HBO Max
Hopefully that
and
could like
TNT.
carry over some rivalries into the young
Exactly.
game.
Because speaking of that, I don't know if y'all had
This guy.
peeped the Cheryl Miller interview on All the Smoke, and she kind of alluded to the Unrivaled. Like she was excited about it because although it's 3-on-3, they had this little one-on-one competition where it's strictly basketball.
Yeah.
And I think that
On television?
yeah,
Oh,
it was
word?
on television, and
I'm asking serious questions.
No, you're
though.
not.
This nigga is in real life.
you gotta. I'm serious. You
I'm
gotta
not
watch
even
this
trying
game.
to. Okay, all right.
No,
So
no,
this is from the 3-on-3s?
from the 3-on-3. They had like a one-on-one.
Who's your
tournament.
favorite team on the 3-on-3s?
I don't have a
The
favorite team on
Owls.
3-on-3.
The what?
The Owls, the
That's
Lunar
not a
Owls.
That's not a team.
Yo, don't do that, man. We try to big up women's basketball, bro, in the W. man.
I do
Can
have
we
some
pick 'em
favorite-
up?
Yo,
Nah.
who's your favorite team?
Sister
DJ?
Cheryl Miller?
Who's your
Cheryl
favorite
Miller, yeah.
rival team?
Nah, Liberty for the WNBA.
No,
Rival.
Unrivaled. What's your favorite rival?
What is it? The Owls or something like
We not doing what you talk about black people. Look at the negative shit they're doing.
He's dragging me into this, man. I didn't say anything bad though
I'm
either.
just saying, you
I
sitting
didn't-
here
but
talking about him.
But I haven't
Who
said
do we
anything-
like?
I haven't said
don't
anything
like
bad.
women's basketball. I'm not
I
even
haven't
shy
said anything
about
bad,
it.
dog.
It's not
What you
entertaining to
mean?
me.
Yo,
And we talking about it. Y'all don't even know the teams. Like
we
who's
know
the
the team.
We know
name
the
3 of
teams.
the unrivaled teams?
They got the Mist.
Bro, it's the Laces, the Lunar Owls.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you. The Mist, the Bills, the Vinyl.
Yo, we can't do that, man.
Come on, bro.
Anyway,
The
another
Phantom.
pioneer. These guys, man, you guys are jerks. Another pioneer in the
Nah.
women's basketball
Watch
game is
Unrivaled.
Watch Unrivaled for
Got
sure.
it. Watch Unrivaled.
Dawn Staley is going for her back-to-back national championship. It's not an undefeated season. They kind of went through some adversity this year, but they're one of the favorites to win it all. I just want to highlight, obviously, Dawn Staley. Obviously, being from Philly, the Eagles just won, obviously, the Super Bowl. I really don't want to talk about it, but yeah, man, going from Philly, going to Temple, playing in the W, being an Olympic champion, obviously being a pioneer in the game of women's basketball, being a head coach, a black head coach, kind of dethroning Gino Auriemma as like one of the greater coaches in today's game, today's era. So shout out to her. And then going back to the Eagles, Jalen Hurts just won his Super Bowl MVP, and he's represented by a black woman named Nicole Lynn. She's also tied to Clutch Sports. She also had Quinnen Williams, a number 3 pick. As a black woman, that's the highest ever to do so. So shout out to Nicole Lynn. And also,
how is she tied to Clutch Sports? She's represented by them.
She's a partner with Rich Paul. Yeah,
that's
so
amazing.
they're trying to attack football. So they're slowly integrating into football as well.
I heard about that. Didn't they announce that like last year that they were
a couple of
moving into
years ago.
football?
Yeah. But she's a part of that whole
Wow.
So
that
that
whole
means
wave.
Jalen Hurts is represented by Clutch.
Yes, and
Wow.
and she got him a deal last year or the year before worth $100 million.
Ooh,
So
okay.
he's big money, and again, he's proving his contract to be great. So shout out to Nicole Lynn, and also 50 Cent is possibly was going to create a documentary about her or kind of like a biopic. So shout out to 50, shout out to Stars as well. So yeah, shout out to her, man. Like greatness. So a lot of these women are great, and they're not even talked about. There's also another lady named Jane Kennedy. She also was the first anchor on TV in the late 70s for CBS football. So shout out to Jane Kennedy. She doesn't get enough flowers or flowers at all. And there's a
Claire
plethora.
Smith as well.
Claire
for
Smith.
baseball.
Exactly. So Claire Smith, obviously Jamel Hill we talked about. We talked about Maria Taylor. We talked about Carrie Champion. We talked about Pam Oliver. We talked about, you know what I mean? Like Lisa Salters. So there's so many different women that
LaChina
pioneered
Robinson. Let me just throw that out
Yeah.
there too.
for sure.
Yeah.
So it's
Rachel Nichols.
exactly. No, damn, man. Yo, because I'm thinking about Robin Roberts, dog. I'm like,
This
I'm
is
thinking about
Women's
Robin
Month,
Roberts,
though,
huh?
so-
Look at that, this nigga.
He clicked like that. That would sound
Yeah.
right, but yeah.
We got some
Robin
women's.
Roberts.
We got some women's sneakers out here.
No,
too.
we don't got no women's sneakers. These are the cool gray 11s right here. Obviously Tinker Hatfield again with the masterpieces. These came out. The original was 2010, when Jordan started playing for the Wizards. Them sorry ass Wizards. But great silhouette, great with
You
pretty
said
much anything.
2010?
That's what I was thinking. 2010.
Nah.
No,
No.
this wasn't with the Wizards. I'm bugging.
Yeah.
But 2010, yeah, X that out. But yeah, 2010 these came out.
Oh, okay.
Fuck the Wizards thing. I was
Okay.
just thinking about the Wizards. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. This is Running Point. If you found this episode to be dope, like and subscribe and all that. We out here.
Peace.
Peace.